I'm less like
Hey, how's it going, Martha? What's going on?
I'm just trying to stay warm right now. We're like
Hey.
storm after storm after storm.
It's been, I was back east for the beginning of March, beginning of February. I'm already into March, beginning of February, and I left a day early because that cycle of storms was starting, and
Yeah.
so I was happy to get out without being in there for that storm because you know what, my blood has thinned. I'm a California girl now, and
Yeah. What are you drinking right now?
I am drinking the very expensive Costco version of Kim Crawford's Sauvignon
Excellent.
Blanc.
Yes, very good. I um I am drinking something called Shandong Garden, which is a spritz that's very reasonably priced and available at the grocery store. Because of the cold, I wanted to feel more like it was warm weather,
Mhm. So you're on
you know.
vacation, you're,
Right. I'm
spritzing it
having a
up,
spritz.
spritzing
I'm
it up.
I'm in Positano, right?
Ah,
That kind
there
of
you
thing.
go. Yeah.
We
Yes.
should do reviews for Positano, but there are no wineries there.
Well, we can move out of the country on some of these. I think it's a great
Where are we
idea.
doing today?
So
What
we are
location are we doing today?
continuing with Livermore.
Oh yeah, that's
So,
right.
right? So if
Yes.
you remember, I'm hoping that this episode we have a little bit better experiences because last time, remember, we had tasting in a parking lot.
Yep.
We had burnt rubber smell in the wine.
Yep.
And we learned that some people can be a bit little snooty when they're going into tasting rooms when they just arrived back from Chile and
Yeah.
thinking that Temecula is the Chile of, the wine world of the United States. So, right,
Yeah.
we had some people there that kind of get
I'm
into
glad
that.
we've moved on from Temecula so we can start to explore other regions of
Yes.
California.
Yes. Yes. And Livermore is bountiful for wineries. So I know we have some exceptional wineries out there. Um, and this we're going to continue, except I'm realizing right now that I kind of messed up. I don't have the name of this winery
Oh, look it up. Well, you
because
know what? For a moment,
we
yeah.
stopped in the middle, and I didn't realize we actually stopped in the middle of a winery.
Well, I think
So,
last time we talked about I used to work in Walnut Creek, which is
yes.
East Bay. It's not really wine country. Um, but our factory, our warehouse, everything was in Livermore. And so I had a lot of coworkers who lived in Pleasanton and in Livermore and who wanted us to go wine tasting in Livermore. And I think at first I said, "Oh, I don't think I know any wineries there. I don't think I've ever tasted wine at any of them." But then I remembered and I had memories of wineries I had been to. So I'm on the edge of my seat about
All
what the
right.
names of the wineries we're going to talk about are in case I've been there.
Yeah, so I have a very good friend, winery in Livermore. I did not look him up, but I can't imagine there's any bad reviews for him because his wines are stellar. But as we've learned in this series, everybody can do a bad review. So, which I will actually preface with we got our first bad review.
Oh, can we talk about that first?
Yes, we
Let's talk about
can
your
because
winery
this
first
woman
too,
is
because yeah.
a little.
Oh,
So yes, so they came in with free tastings. Let's preface it with free tastings. And then I explained to them, as I explained to everybody, that we only have three wines on the tasting list because we are sold out of our other four. So, right there, point one, they could have left. They had no problem, right? If they were going to be upset with only three wines, they could have left. Okay. They proceeded to taste. I poured. They weren't interactive at all. So I kind of just did my little spiel and walked away. They were five of them. So they were all into their own little conversations.
Yeah.
And I walked away. I poured, and I got to the third wine, poured, and within 2 minutes after that, they were up and basically just, I actually didn't even sign their passport, that which gave them their free passing, their free tastings. They just
Yeah.
left without that. And then we proceed to get a 2-star review, starting off with saying only 3 wines and
Right.
the smallest pours ever. They free poured the wine, and I not even enough to actually taste the wine to decide if we wanted to buy it.
Free pour, do
So,
you mean because you didn't have like a posy pour or
right,
something?
right. Okay. And so, and then she took pictures of 2 wine glasses, one that had red food coloring in it, and the other one that had blue food coloring in it. So she went home and made
Oh, to replicate the levels of
the
how much
level of
wine you
pour.
supposedly.
Yes, yes,
Oh, that's commitment.
right. And so my response was, I'm very sorry, because you know how I love owner
I
responses,
know you love a good
right?
response because it,
Uh,
it makes or break it. It makes or breaks it for people who are reading, right?
right. So I said, I'm very sorry, we only had 3 wines available. Did explain that we were sold out of our other 4 wines before you sat down. You did choose to taste anyway. And yes, we do free pour, which means that generally speaking, you get more than that one
Yeah.
ounce pour because I just pour. I said, and secondly, at any point, you could have asked for more. And we do ask if you would like to revisit anything. And your group chose to get up and walk out. So I was not provided an opportunity. I got no feedback from you that you thought I was underpouring you. And I said, and those aren't my wine glasses, and I I don't know what to tell you, right? And I did go to Yelp and I said, this is an unfair review because those are not my wine glasses. If she took a picture of my wine glass with this, with a 1/4 inch, basically, is what she's saying I poured her, um, then okay, then I guess there's nothing I can say, even though they could have taken a sip and then taken a picture, but that's really going overboard, right? But I said, those are not my glasses. That's not my wine. And she was told there were only 3 wines. So whatever. And of course, Yelp in their infinite wisdom said, we've evaluated this and feel this is an appropriate review.
Oh, it is inappropriate.
It is, no, it's
Yeah.
appropriate. They left it up.
Yeah.
They left it
Okay.
up.
So, I mean, I have so many thoughts on this. Number one, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. At least it wasn't a 1-star
That is
review.
true. I cannot be in this series because it was a two
Right.
star.
Um, and then I will share that I've read a lot on the psychology of the value of reviews. And she's probably inadvertently doing you a favor because the common wisdom is when you look at something, if it's all 5-star reviews, you should be a little cautious because people
Oh,
buy reviews, right? People pay people to do
oh,
reviews like for products and kinds of things. They give away free product in return for a review. And even though they say they want an honest review, people tend to feel like they should say nice things. So that you have a 2-star review means that you might be 4.5 now, or 4.7 or 4.8, which could look more realistic. And
oh,
then if
okay.
someone goes and tries to see what your lowest rating is, and they see the reasons and they see your response, that's great information.
Oh,
It's they
okay.
see
All
how
right.
they
So I
respond.
can
So
take
I
it
think
as, yeah,
it's great that you got a two
yeah.
star review because now you have that in there. That's your lowest review, and anyone read it and go, "Oh yeah, right."
That's like, yeah. And then it was funny because she wrote back.
Oh,
I
they can
just
do
dropped it.
that.
Well, she modified her review.
Oh,
She edited her review to then say, well, obviously these aren't your wine glasses. It's bright blue.
oh, yeah.
So,
Well, so she needed to get the last word.
yeah.
She's a
So
keyboard warrior.
I
Here's
just
the
let her
thing.
go.
Yeah, here's the thing. And we noticed this in the reviews that even the 1-stars that we're going over is there are things that can get fixed when you're present.
Right.
right, you can just mention them if whatever it is, like people waiting for food or whatever the thing is, you didn't like your seat. There are things you can make a comment and allow the proprietor to improve your experience. And they could have 100% said, "We'd like to revisit these wines."
Right.
And you would have poured it happily.
Yep.
They could have said to you, "Gosh, we're so sad there are only three wines." And you could have engaged in more conversation, explained how you sold out. Like, there are a million things that could happen that could turn that experience into a more positive
Positive.
one.
Exactly. Exactly. And that is a very valid lesson to learn that if you're in a situation, there's very nice ways to say, hey, by the way, if you thought I was pouring lightly, then just ask if you can have a little more,
Yeah.
very politely. But
And I would have made a joke out of it. I would have said, "Hey, Lori, since there are only three wines, can we have twice as much?"
right,
That's so I would have just said it.
right. And you know what? I would have
You would have
poured you
done it.
twice as much.
Yes. Or can I just have three times as much of this one because I'm
One.
dumping all the whites into my friend's glass? So
Right. All right. Well,
people make
we
their
can look at
beds.
it as a positive. We can look at
Yeah.
it, we can spin. I like how you spin that into a
Yeah.
positive.
Well, because people create their own reality, right? And
Right.
by making choices like that. And what she basically did was she wanted to stomp out unhappy
Yes.
instead of asserting herself when you only had three or saying, "Oh man," she just wanted to be upset,
Set. Yep.
you know?
And as we've said multiple times, some people are only happy when they're unhappy.
100%. So I'm just
Right.
glad it wasn't a one star. That's great.
Yes.
A two
Yes.
stars, okay.
All right. All right. Here we go with more one-star reviews. And we are returning to McGrail Vineyards,
Oh,
5600 Greenville Road in Livermore. Okay. And this is JP. Wines are okay if you don't mind paying $10 per person usage fee for the privilege of sitting on a lawn bench while the strong Livermore Valley wind blows dirt from the adjacent parking lot on your face. Well, this place is for you if that's what you like. Of course, you could sit on the patio away from the parking lot, somewhat shielding the wind, but that'll cost you.
so is that $20 a seat on the patio and $10 a seat on the
I guess
picnic
so.
bench exposed to the elements?
Elements, I guess so. And it is every winery's problem. It is every winery's fault that there's wind. That is
Right.
by far the winery's fault that there's wind.
Listen,
Absolutely.
if they didn't have outside picnic tables, then people would complain they don't have enough seating and they had to wait.
Hmm. Exactly. But
And Livermore, 350 days a year is great weather.
right,
So they
right.
probably picnic table is probably great most of the time.
Most of the time.
Aw,
Yeah.
I wonder what the $10 a seat thing is. Does he mean for the tasting?
I think $10 a person for tasting. I can't, but I don't know. Maybe, well,
And
you
that's
know
got to be
what?
what it is.
We have a response from the owner.
Oh,
So let's see
excellent.
if
Let's,
she explains it. Okay.
yeah.
We're sorry to hear you didn't have a great experience with us. For future bookings, we offer a variety of tasting experiences from our private arbor cabanas, ooh, our our seated panoramic patio, and our indoor members only lounge. We hope we hope on your next visit we can better suit your needs. Cheers.
I mean, what else can you say?
So my
He
guess is
opted.
he went the cheap route,
Yeah,
right?
maybe the picnic table is they're the cheap seats.
Right. Maybe they were the free seats and it was $10 per tasting, and he didn't want to um, pony up some money because I don't know, a private arbor cabana sounds pretty damn cool place to be tasting to me.
Yes. Yeah. I
Mm.
mean, listen, to blame the winery for the wind. I That's just a little too far.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, let's see what Alex has to say. Alex Arnaldi, this could have been a great experience. We loved the property, and I really do like the wine. Everything was going great until Dun, 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 dun. Courtney, the wine Nazi, chastised me.
Oh my.
She criticized the way we were holding our glasses, the way we swirled our wines, the way we smelled the wines. She was condescending and obnoxious. There are plenty of wineries in the valley. Go to one that actually appreciates its visitors.
Okay, so this is one of those situations like, what if Courtney is a jerk?
Yeah. Yeah. This one sounds like I'm kind of on Alex's side.
Yeah, I mean, because it sounds, and the wineries will remain unnamed, but it sounds, I've had experiences where it was less fun to learn
Mhm.
because they were just beating me over the head with their wine knowledge,
Right.
you know?
Like, look
Um,
what I know. Look what I know.
yes.
Or
Oh,
look
you
what I'm
shouldn't
reading.
touch
Look what I'm
that.
reading.
Right, right. So, yeah, I agree with Alex. I would give them 1 star as well. And hopefully management has a chat with Courtney. And then if
Yeah.
she's not doing that, they should respond. But if
Right.
she is doing it, they should definitely talk to Courtney about being welcoming to their
Welcome.
clientele.
Right. That is, I think, a very big thing in tasting rooms and a skill of the personnel that they can recognize what level wine consumer they are working with at that moment, or, and, bump it up if the people are inquisitive and want to know more, and bump it down if not, and in all honesty, unless they ask, which has happened, I've heard that you're not supposed to hold a wine glass by the top of it. Is that true? Then you go into that opportunity to explain, well, yes, you really shouldn't hold it by there because blah blah
Yep,
blah blah blah,
unless you're
right?
drinking a spritz in a stemless wine
In a
glass.
stemless, right? Well,
Hmm.
yes, and even in the stemless, I tend to grab it above
Yeah,
the wine, unless I really did a really heavy pour, and then it's impossible.
that's what I did at the heavy pour. And also, this one is a weird shape. These were a gift. Look how they're
Mm,
probably supposed to be red wine, right?
yeah,
And so they're hard to hold from the
hold
top.
because it's just going to slide right through.
But at
Yeah,
home, I have 3 all-purpose glasses, and then I've got 6 of these. So these get pulled out no
pulled out
matter
some
what it is.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, so on this
Um,
one, I'm
yeah,
going with Alex. I really am.
me too. I think it's interesting because you can help develop people's wine knowledge without being snobby. Like you don't have to be a cork dork. And then you can have people come in who are excited because you're a cork dork and they're a cork dork and you get
Right,
to like talk to each other. Um, but I think you're right. The personnel has to have the right skill set.
right. The ability to recognize the difference between those two things, you
Yes.
know.
Now, just for speculation, and Alex, don't be mad about this because I don't even know you. I've forgotten your last name already, but it's possible that Alex might have been on a date and was
Oh,
like, maybe Alex was doing that thing. I'll also apologize to all the men. Doing that thing that men sometimes do on a date when they're trying to impress their date and they're wine
yes,
splaining,
yes.
right? Or something. And and maybe now she probably still should have done it, but maybe she was correcting him. Like maybe he,
Right,
right?
right. Still
Um,
probably shouldn't have been done.
right. As
Which,
personnel, she should avoid that. But we don't know what was
yeah,
Alex doing. You
right,
know,
right.
what was he
They,
doing that she felt like she had to correct?
right.
Had he been drinking all day? And like,
True.
was he like falling on top of the counter? I mean, there are so many things that could be
Could,
happening in that situation that would lead her to say things that maybe would feel like being chastised.
right. Maybe he was swirling so hard that wine was flying out of the glass.
We've all seen it.
Yeah, as we
I
have.
mean, I've had to move during I used to have I had my boyfriend move in between me and people who were clearly on their fifth winery, right? Because they were bumping into me and,
Right.
I didn't want to get spilled on. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm sure
Yeah.
that's not a situation with Alex, sure, but We have to see, are there other reviews about Courtney? That's the real
Right.
key.
That is the only review because that is the last review we have for McRail Vineyards, and that is the only one. We did three last time, so that is the only one that recognized or called out Courtney.
Yeah.
So,
So
but
who
yeah, I
knows?
do. It is an interesting thing though, like when somebody does come into the to a tasting room and is saying something incorrectly, but they are with somebody, and sometimes they are trying to sound like they know what they're talking about, like, oh, this lovely Merlot,
Yeah.
and then,
The
then when I
Meritage. It's a
yeah,
Meritage.
gosh, right?
Right? And you
Yes,
want to help them so they don't say it in front of other people. But if you say it's Meritage, like
right.
heritage, it's a
Rich.
made up word. It's not
Like,
French. It's for
right.
California. If you do that, they might feel
Get a one-star
embarrassed
review
instead
for
of
that. Right.
grateful. Because
Right.
by the way, I used to call it Meritage. I sold a Meritage and called it Meritage
Okay.
until I went out to Napa and I was at an event and someone corrected me and
Right.
explained the origin of Meritage. And I was like, oh,
Oh, well, that
right.
makes
I'm
sense.
grateful. I'm grateful. It's
Right.
20, it's gosh, is it 2025? So it's
Yeah.
almost 20 years
Later.
later. And I
Right.
am grateful that someone said something to me before I went and continued to Meritage myself all over
Myself.
town.
Right. 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 So I
Right.
try not to correct, but then like in another sentence or whatever, I'll say, so, Cabernet Franc's child is Merlot and blah, blah, so
Yeah.
like you try to correct it without correcting it. And if they catch on, they catch on. And if they don't, they don't. Because if I'm going to be talking about it, I cannot say Merlot.
No,
I'm
you
going
can
to
make
say
them
it
feel better.
correctly. Right. I'm going to make
Right.
I'm going to say it correctly. So as opposed to saying, "Oh no, that's not how you say it," you just
No.
kind of you know gently say it the correct way.
Yeah.
So
I think it's interesting too because when people mispronounce words like that, it actually means they've read more. It means no one
yes,
introduced it to them. So in a way, it's kind of a badge of
they
being well
researched.
read.
Right. Yes, they
Yeah. So they
researched.
just had never had it spoken to them.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Alex.
But I'm gonna side
We're a
with Alex
lot.
on this.
Yeah, I think it is. I think maybe Courtney had a bad day.
Yeah.
Maybe she's not, this is not the right occupation
Vision
for
for her.
her.
Right. Right. All right. So we are going to move. I'm going to say down the road. I have no idea if it's down the road, but this is now Retzlaff Vineyards, and it is at
Is that
13.
Ratzlaff?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think I might know this.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is at 1356 South Livermore Ave. And so they actually have 4.5 stars,
Hmm.
166 reviews. So pretty,
Yeah.
pretty spot on. And according to them, their little Google bio is Retzlaff Vineyards is a family-run winery in Livermore Valley, producing award-winning wines made from grapes grown on their California certified organic farm.
Oh, wow.
Great effort and care go into every step of the growing and harvesting process without any chemical interventions. All right. Well, our first guy up, Professor Math.
Oh.
Okay. So Professor Math is a longtime customer. This was
Oh,
my family's place to go. I have been a customer since 2018 and have gone to this winery a lot. Unfortunately, my wife was treated poorly by some of the staff. She was getting some water and was told not to get too much. Mind you, that we had spent over $300 on that day. There are plenty of nice wineries in Livermore, and unfortunately, this is no longer one of them. Avoid this place unless you like to be treated poorly.
okay.
That is a deep dive over
Yeah.
a glass of water.
I mean, there's got to be some context here. Like, was she, maybe she's refilling her water bottle or,
Maybe she had one of those massive,
yeah.
water things.
Yeah. They probably, I don't know. I haven't been to this place that I recall. Maybe they have like a water thing so you can give yourself water out in the tasting room and it was going to empty it. Or I don't know
Right.
why they would say don't take too much. I wonder what was happening.
I'm
But
envisioning
longtime
her with one of
customer, and
those
he's
like
out.
5 gallon jug things.
Yeah. And like, oh, filling it up. I even feel bad, like at the airline lounge. I want to fill my water before I get on a plane. And I like it better when they fill it at the bar, like with their gun,
Oh, right.
because I know what it takes to refill those things. I know my 16-ounce thing is going to take a lot of that water. Um, yeah, I don't know. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I don't know. I have had actually this past weekend, I had a woman come in with I'm gonna say a 64 ouncer, like one of those things, right? And she actually like they sat down, they had the tasting, we had this great conversation, everything. They bought wine, they were heading home, and she actually said, "Sorry, but can I fill this?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Right.
It's right there. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Um, but I think there is that that don't fill your water thing, don't fill your water, uh, whatever thingamajiggy with my water. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing
Or
at some point
ask maybe.
she was reprimanded for doing
Sure.
that, right? Because well, I mean, why else would she
I'm
have
thinking, you know
asked?
what? I probably have been reprimanded too, which is why I'm so conscious of it in those airline clubs. And I'm aware they have to refill them. Um, I probably, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I would even ask permission at a winery if it was self-serve water. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I
Yeah,
mean, I that's what it's there for. Well, I guess it's really there for while you're in the winery, but
yeah,
I don't know. You just bought some. I mean, it'd be really rude if you just walked in, which has happened. Just
right.
walk into my winery and say, "Oh, can I get some water?" And then you fill it and then you turn around and walk out. That would be rude. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I wish he would have said what size.
a little more
Her
context. Yes.
128 ounce
Yeah.
Stanley.
Right, right. But he did spend 300. So I think he gets it. I don't know. I think that's at least a 64-ounce water, right? I mean,
Sure.
at
I
least
mean,
32. At
I
least
don't know
32.
what kind of thing it was. I don't know. Like I don't mean to side with the winery all the time because I don't. But I would want more context. Was it
Yeah.
a pitcher and she'd emptied one pitcher and was grabbing another pitcher? Right? Like what was the situation? Did she come up with an empty pitcher and said, I need more water? And they'd said, like, and what language did they use to ask her to limit it?
Right. Hey,
I'm just,
hey,
there are a
bitch,
million
you've had enough.
questions.
What are you, a
Yeah.
camel?
What do you, yeah. We were in a drought before. We're
Yeah.
not right now, but we were,
Right.
you know?
Right. Yeah.
I don't
But that is
know.
the thing about 1-star reviews, right? You're only getting what that person is wanting you to see. And they're very tunnel vision, right? And I would
And they're
say more,
upset.
yes, that's what I was going to say. More often than not, they are there as soon as they left. Professor Math sat on his phone, thumbs galore, and typed it out, you know.
That's going in my Yelp review as he
Yeah.
leaves,
Yes. Yes.
you know? Oh,
Yes.
wow.
All right. So we're going to go to John Smith, but it's Jon Smith. So I'm going to go with that's
Oh,
his real name.
yeah.
Uh, and called in for a walk-in tasting and was told we were okay to come right in. Got to the hostess, Danielle, and was then turned back. Wasted 30 minutes getting there. Okay, right there, you could come right in. You're now 30 minutes later. That's not right now. So other walk-ins may
Right.
have come in. So I'm
Yeah.
against you already, John. Okay. Uh, Horrible customer service and a nasty attitude by Danielle. Noticed other minorities getting turned away while other walk-ins were being serviced. Extremely fishy, discriminating treatment by the hostess. Take your hard-earned money someplace else in Livermore. It's 2022, Retzclaff. Get with it. Diversity and social media. Raw.
Well, I mean, if that was really happening, and it does happen,
Yeah.
um, then I'm not surprised he reviewed. Um,
But
it's also
okay, so I'm going
possible
to
those
be,
people
this is
had
a horrible
reservations.
thing
Those
to
people might
say.
have had reservations, right?
Right,
He doesn't know. We can't tell by watching which ones are walk-ins. We don't know,
right,
you know?
right. Just because they're walking in the door does not mean that they are walk-ins. But
Yeah,
I'm just going back to, you were 30 minutes later. So if I called in and said, like, hey, are you doing walk-ins today? And they say yes, you can come right in. And I say, well, you know what? It's going to take me about 30 minutes to get there. Is that going to be okay? Or like, hey, can I make a reservation for 30 minutes? Because
right.
30 minutes later is not a walk-in.
No.
But
Well,
by
and it could have been
definition, it's not a walk-in.
yeah, and it could have been a conversation where he called and said, "Hey, we're thinking about coming down there. How's it look? Do you guys have space?" And she said, "Yeah, we've got space,
Right,
right? Come on in." And then he showed up and there wasn't space and now he's upset.
right. I mean, a lot can
But
happen in a
yeah.
tasting room in a half an hour. You can go
Oh,
from having
absolutely.
zero people to being completely fulfilled.
Yeah. But if they were letting other walk-ins, like if Danielle was letting other people in and
Then that
discriminating
is
against black people, then that's absolutely a problem. And I'm glad he
absolutely
wrote it down. And hopefully the owner was, did they respond?
no.
Okay. Hopefully the owner saw this 3 years ago and took action.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No review. No, I mean, no response. No response. Which I do find, again, sidebar, not funny sidebar, just sidebar. I respond to every review we get.
Yeah.
So it blows my mind that we get so many that there's not a response. Whether it's a great review or a 5-star review, a 2-star review, a 4-star, whatever it is, I'm always responding to them to let them know it. And that's what I look for. Like if, like you said earlier, that okay, so the 2-star, I responded, people can see my response, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking for, if there's a bad review and the owner hasn't responded, then I'm more likely to believe that that's true,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I would be defending Danielle or I would be defending my winery to say, oh, we are not, ranking people and allowing non-minorities in, and we don't want minorities, and we do not do that. That would have been my response. And I would have then responded, you did come 30 minutes later. We might have had reservations at that time. You know,
Yeah.
please come back.
Or I would
Let me
say,
know when
listen,
you're
I'll
coming
talk to
back.
Dan. Yeah. Or I'd
Yeah,
say, I'm going to talk to Danielle. I'm going to talk to people who were here on that day. I understand you were here Saturday the 15th, like, because he could figure it out
right,
and say, and we're going to get to the bottom of it.
right.
Right.
Thank you for letting
To,
me be aware of this.
yeah.
This is not our policy, and we will, you know, but to not have a response kind of,
Yeah. What makes you wonder if it's true.
right.
And then well, I'll share and I'm old now, so I'm afraid I may have shared this before because you and I have recorded since I got back from my trip, but I don't know. Oh, probably not. So I was recently in Mexico and there was an attraction. That's the best description I have for it. That I was going to go to, but I looked at the reviews and they were just scathing. And I was disappointed because local people had said you should totally go. It was like a natural kind of rapids.
Oh, okay.
You get to float down. It's super cool. And I thought that seems really fun. I want to do that. And I decided not to do it. I changed my plans because the reviews were so terrible.
Oh,
And
wow.
I went on a boat cruise and met some people who said we really wanted to go to this place. Um, but the reviews are terrible. I'm like, I know. And then someone else said, did you see that too? Yeah, my hotel said I should totally go do this, but the reviews look awful. And so we decided to take a chance, the six of us from three different countries, um, went to this place, figuring worst case, what it was like it was like $10
Right.
admission. We're like, we get there, shame on us. We had the best time. Nothing those people said was true about the staff. Nothing. It was, I could see where people could create problems or where there may have been problems in the past. So I went and wrote a really
Nice
direct
review.
review that said, like, listen, I can see where they thought where this might have been slippery before, and now they've got this. I can see where this might have been an issue, but now there's signs. Right? So either they took those reviews to heart and made changes or whatever, but I almost didn't come because the reviews were so bad and I would have really missed out.
Missed out.
And so I wrote that. And they responded and said, "Thank you so much for your positive vibes." Right? We
Right.
hope to see you again. That's all they said. But
Right.
I'm sure they're just reading these terrible reviews
And
and
they're like,
people only are reaching out when they have a bad time.
right. Right.
Right. So I normally, if I hadn't seen those reviews, I wouldn't have written a review for my
Right.
$10 thing. It was so
Right.
fun. I would have said that was really fun. So
It is
I
important.
think,
So it is
yeah,
important. If you are going to write a bad review about a place, you should be equally writing a good review for a place that you enjoyed. Because
yes, 100%.
yeah, yeah.
But I wish they would have responded to other people's reviews. They responded to mine.
Right.
But I wish they would were
They
countering
were finally like,
all
"Oh
those
my
bad
gosh,
reviews.
thank goodness we
Yeah,
got
someone said
somebody.
something nice.
Can we pin this comment? Can we pin this
Yeah.
review?"
So anyway, but I think about that and think about how often, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and
Absolutely.
so they're
Absolutely.
complaining, and people might make decisions and miss fun things that
Fun
they would have
things.
thought were fun.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
Good
that's why the
lesson.
response is so important
Yes.
as a business owner.
All right. We are going to leave Rats Laugh with Yossi B. Okay.
Okay.
Yossi B says, wait for service. And then a thumbs down emoji.
Oh, so they were busy.
That was it. That's the whole review. Wait for
Yep.
service, thumb down emoji.
I mean, it could be that they understaffed. It could be they were busy, but it could be they just are slow. And then I would want to complain too,
Right.
right?
And again,
I'd probably
I'm sorry.
elaborate.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you're so frustrated that you are going to give a 1-star review, we need a little more context. Did you
Right.
wait 10 minutes? Did you wait 2 hours? Did you wait, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Was it
yes.
was it really busy? And so you could tell they were overwhelmed, or was it dead and they just have
Had ignored you.
people who don't care,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah,
So another lesson for our 1-star reviewers out there. A little more context goes a long way. We can we can feel ya. We can go be on your side if you give us a little more information.
exactly. Context.
All right, so we are going to Concanen Winery, which is actually a rather well-known winery.
Yes.
I've heard of them,
Yes.
and I kind of think I've been there. 4590 Tesla Road. They have they have 4.5 stars with 419 reviews. So pretty darn solid. James Concanen, our founder, was born on St. Patrick's Day in 1847. Our vineyard story all began in 1865 when
Oh, wow.
James, an 18-year-old boy with only one golden guinea in his pocket, a heart full of adventure, and an honor as his guiding star, courageously set sail from the rocky coast of Ireland's Aran Islands to seek opportunity in America. He left with a tall order from his parents to live his life according to an ancient component principle: wisdom without compromise.
That sounds like a scotch or a whiskey ad, but anyway.
I know. I know. My Irish is more Scottish. I know.
No, no, no,
No,
no.
but I agree.
I mean the no, not you. I thought your accent was great. The wisdom before compromise. It
It's a
doesn't
little more
feel very
Scottish.
Livermore winery to
Yeah,
me.
a little more Scottish. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So let's see what these people have to say about wisdom without compromise. We have Ranjit Rajan Pillai. 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 Okay. In this sprawling landscape of lush vineyards and serene ambience, boy, that sounds like a great start to a novel, right? A disheartening experience unfolded. This man wants to be a writer.
And he is a writer.
He is, right? Okay. The policy of bearing children on weekends, akin to an exclusionary decree, was a noticeable flaw.
Oh,
The encounter with the staff, characterized by a regrettable demeanor, added a discordant note to an otherwise tranquil setting. As the visitors sought solace amidst the vines, an unwelcoming atmosphere tainted the beauty of this enophile sanctuary. Okay, you know what comes to mind?
was that it?
That was it.
Uh,
What comes to mind is the Friends episode when Joey is trying to write a letter of recommendation for Monica and Chandler to get a baby, and he gets told to use a thesaurus, and he uses a thesaurus for everything. That is what that review reminds me of.
yes, that was very florid language for a 1-star review. So,
And
just
I'm
to
not
like,
really sure what's wrong.
I think let me translate.
Okay.
Let me translate to eighth grade English, which is what we or eighth grade level reading for us. Um, they said no kids on weekends.
Correct. I got that. Yep.
It's a nice
Uh,
winery, but he wanted to bring his kids,
kids.
and they said no kids, and he was mad.
Hmm. Yep. Exclusionary decree, akin to an exclusionary decree.
They said no kids on weekends.
And that
And
is it.
I just,
That is the
yeah,
only thing that really pissed him off.
and the place was beautiful. It was a it was a wine lover's paradise, but they
He was
said no kids, and that just really just ruined the
ruined
experience.
the experience. Absolutely. Yep.
I mean, I think companies should be able to have policies against kids. Now, I don't have any little kids, so it might feel differently if I had little kids. And um, this is going to sound anti-millennial, but um, my when we were younger, there were lots of places kids weren't allowed to go.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there were lots of events that kids weren't allowed to go. And we got left home with a babysitter or with our grandparents or whatever. We weren't permitted to go. There were restaurants where you just didn't bring kids.
Right.
And I think that people need to be reminded that your kids are not welcome everywhere.
Right.
They're children. It's disruptive for the other who are there to
Who were
enjoy
there to
the
enjoy
wine
the
lovers
lush
paradise.
vineyards and serene ambience. Right
Yeah,
there, it is not a serene ambience if there are kids running around.
kids running around, it's not serene. So
Right.
what I think about this winery is they let you bring kids during the week.
Hmm.
They say on the weekends we're kids free.
Right. And I think that's okay.
I think it's totally reasonable. And
Hmm.
I would appreciate it as one of their customers. I'm like, oh, that's great. Not that I don't like
Right.
kids, right?
Right.
But
But I keep honing into the serene ambience.
right.
That's what makes it a serene ambience, is
I
that
bet it's
there's
not
not kids
serene
screaming
on
around.
Wednesdays.
Right.
Bet you it's not a serene wine lovers paradise
Right. Right.
on Wednesdays. On wind down Wednesdays where they have like free chicken nuggets or
Right.
whatever, where they have to
In the
have a
shape of a
kids
dinosaur.
menu,
Right.
right? They have to do whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, we're wah wah. We should
Yeah.
start keeping score of whether we vote for the winery or we vote for the 1-star review.
Can we have a mixed bag too? Because sometimes it's because there's missing information.
Information.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So more information required.
Required. Yes.
So this
Yes.
one, no more information is required.
Quite.
I am siding with the
With the
winery.
winery. I am with the winery too.
Unapologetically.
Yes. 100%.
We should go
100
back. We'll have to have like a little scorecard.
card.
I'll make them. I'll
Okay.
keep
Yes.
track.
Yes. Awesome. Yes. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on with Michael Taylor. So I did not feel like I was welcome. They searched my bag for outside wine, then told me I
Oh.
couldn't sit at the table until I bought a bottle of wine. In parentheses, my wife was inside buying a bottle. And the third strike was them not letting my 2-year-old play with his ball on the grass lawn. This review is
Was it
strictly
a
for the winery.
Saturday?
Yeah. How did the kid get there? How did the kid get there? And so like, was the kid throwing the ball at other customers? Or was it a bat and a ball? Like,
I mean, my whole
See,
thing
this is
is like,
why
and again, I
children are
sound like
not
a
allowed in
Grinch.
certain places.
Yeah. I sound like a Grinch, but I'm like, you know what? You might think it's fine and not disruptive that your kids throwing a ball on the lawn next to people drinking wine at picnic tables or whatever the thing is, but it is.
Right, right. You've got to see
And
outside your little spectrum of your
and
family.
of course you want to let them do it because they're kids. And making them sit still isn't going to work. And you know that they'll have fun, they'll be quiet, and you're buying yourself 40 minutes or whatever. They're
Hmm.
next thing you're to pull out the screen and have them on their iPad. That'll give you
Right.
another 25 minutes, right? Like you were constantly negotiating with a small terrorist, you know? And you are constantly trying to buy some quiet time where they're not going to be disruptive. So your focus is on that. And so you're happy about the ball and you're losing sight of the experience for the rest of the
Rest of the
people because
people.
even when they're being quiet with a ball, that's disruptive. If they're watching the iPad with sound and no headphones, it's
It's
disruptive.
disruptive.
Like,
Right.
and you think things are going great because they're not screaming and you and your wife can have some wine. But for the people around
Right.
you, this is why this place has no kid weekends
Yes. Yep.
because of the ball throwing in the lawn.
Right. Right. But he then did say
Oh,
uh this is only about the winery. The wine is great. So then in
oh,
my case, that's not a 1-star review, that's a 3-star review.
yeah,
Right? The wine
right.
is great, but they don't let kids or the kids aren't allowed to play. So I'm going down the middle. That's a 3-star.
Yeah. And like if it had been, if his, is it Brian? Is that his name?
Michael. Michael
Michael,
Taylor.
sorry. Sorry, Michael. Um, if this was a Wednesday and you're like, they allow kids on Wednesdays, but they have these, to use the other man's words, draconian rules. But they're don't allow kids at all if you're going to be so strict that they can't play, right?
Right.
That would be a review that makes sense to me. But
Right.
we don't know which day he went there. We don't know
Right.
the context of it.
I'm also just thinking a 2-year-old playing with a ball. The ball is going in places that
Yeah, it's knocking over
are affecting other
glasses.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
And by the way, my grandson, he doesn't play with the ball like this. He plays like,
right.
"Ah,"
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Like there's no silent toddler
No,
play
no. Right.
unless they're getting into trouble and
That's
then you
when
should be
it's,
nervous.
yes. Yes.
So, sorry, Michael.
Yeah. All right. We're going to move down, literally down the road because Concannon was 4590 Tesla Road, and we are moving to 7000 Tesla Road, Suite A. 4.6 stars with 97 reviews. We are going to Darcy Kent Winery. Okay. Established in 1996, Darcy Kent Vineyards is a family owned and operated winery in the Livermore Valley located east of San Francisco Bay. Along with her husband David and her 2 daughters, Kaylin and Amanda, 6th generation, Darcy Kent is committed to combining Livermore Valley terroir along with her artistry and passion to forge and sustain a world-class family-owned estate winery. We grow, barrel, and bottle all of our own wines.
So is Darcy the winemaker? Or
I do
Darcy
not
Kent
know
is
it.
like a last name because it's been around since no,
Kent,
1996. It's
yeah,
new.
Kent is the last name. Darcy is her name. I do
Okay.
not know if she's actually the winemaker there, but she is
Yeah.
the owner along with her husband. So she may be the winemaker. I don't know, but because it says along with her husband David and her 2 daughters. Um, but then it says Kaylin and Amanda are the 6th generation. So Darcy apparently is named after another Darcy, because I don't think we can get to 6 generations in 19 from 1996.
There
Otherwise,
must be like that's why I'm curious if she's a winemaker because you talked about her artistry, right?
yeah. See,
So,
I do think she's the winemaker, but I'm still trying to figure out the 6 generations from
say what they really need is an
1996.
editor. They need an editor. That's what we should do. We should pivot this podcast into offering um marketing editing for
marketing
some of these
editing.
wineries to
Yes.
make their blurbs less florid or make them clearer because I'm very
Clear.
confused.
Yeah. Six. So it's Darcy's daughter is the sixth generation
Of what?
of what? Because the winery was 1996. So to get to six generations, they are well before the 16 and pregnant thing.
So
Um,
Darcy is Darcy from a long
yeah,
established winemaking family, winery owning family.
yeah,
Like, what is the story? The sixth generation. They're leaving out important stuff and
yeah,
adding unnecessary things like their kids' names. So
right. Yeah, they didn't need to put six. I get
now I
why they
sound
put six
anti-kid.
generation. Yeah, I get why they put six generation because they want it to be like we've been here for a long time because most wineries in today's world here in the United States are like the second generation or the third generation.
Or the
So,
first.
yeah, yeah.
But
So a
tell us of
sixth
what?
generation is pretty darn good, but to say that you
Of
only
what?
started in 1996,
But there's sixth generation of what?
right, right.
I'm going to say it again. Of what?
Of Darcy's. No. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to start off with Jennifer F. Okay. My wife and I had tickets to a tasting event here on Friday, February 17th, which we were unable to make it due to a work emergency on my end. When we called to inquire about a refund, we were told to call Janae several days later. Janae was incredibly rude and dismissive, quoting a 72-hour cancellation policy that she later admitted is listed nowhere as the reason why she couldn't refund us. So I'm going to let you know I can't refund you because we have this 72-hour cancellation policy, but that's not written anywhere. I'm just kind of making that up
That's
right
just our
now.
policy. It's just our policy.
Just kind of like the policy we follow. So yeah, so nowhere as the reason why she couldn't refund us. And then going on to say they needed to pay the vendors. I told her I understand, but paying their vendors isn't my responsibility. To which she replied that my work emergency wasn't her responsibility. Bam! That is a
Go,
drop mic.
Janae. Go, Janae.
That is a drop mic right there. Um, I am a mortician,
Oh,
and my work emergency involved a hospital, which she was informed of. Unfortunately, I cannot speak of the facility itself, nor will I, as I will never be coming here again.
that's
Um,
okay. So, as I just want to share, as someone, and you probably do too, as someone who sells a lot of tickets to wine dinners and special library tastings and different things, um, we don't give refunds either.
right,
And by the way, we have a 48-hour cancellation policy, which is on the when you buy your ticket, right? You get the notification. Now, if you reach out and say, I can't come, and I can pull someone off the wait list and charge them, happy, refund
right,
you all day long. But it, it's rare that someone expects us to refund them when they cancel last minute because they know.
right. I'm assuming if this was the emergency, it happened the day of the event, and they've
Yeah.
already paid that vendor for X amount of people. Now, could you be generous and say, okay, I'm sorry, I understand. But again, I'm going to go, this is not really, I'm going with Janae. This emergency is not really her responsibility. It's not an emergency like he was in, or I'm on, if I'm understanding this correctly,
He
he
didn't
could have
die.
got right. He didn't die. He didn't go into the hospital. Um,
Yeah.
Somebody else passed away at a hospital, which they, as morbid as this is, they have a place
They're already dead.
to
They
hold
could have
it
waited
for
till
them.
after
Yeah,
dinner,
right. Yeah, you
right?
don't.
It's not like he is a surgeon. Like he thought adding the fact he was a mortician was going to like make us go, oh, he has serious work. It is
Right.
serious work, but it's not like he is a surgeon
Right. It's not
and
like he's an
he had to go to
obstetrician and there's a
emergency
baby coming.
surgery. Right. It's like not as time sensitive. They are already dead.
Right.
By the
Yeah,
time they call you, the person's already dead. 7 hours won't make a difference. And in fact, your wife could go with her sister if
right. If you
if you
felt
can't make it
obligated
because
to
you
be
got to
there.
go to work,
Right.
right? Her best friend, her neighbor. I mean,
Yeah.
so I always think about the idea that when you buy a ticket, because it's probably some kind of it's an event, and I don't know what it is, but our events, it's like a wine dinner. There's caviar, there's lobster, right? There's all the wines. The winemaker's there that night. We only have 12 seats, so we have turned down other people.
Right.
If you don't come, that's wasted lobster and caviar,
Right.
and your ticket
And
paid for it.
right. And if you
So no,
get a
we're not
refund,
refunding it.
now your ticket's not paying for that.
Right. And now
Right.
we've lost money on the dinner,
Right. Yeah,
because yeah.
I'm not getting the I actually might have been a little bit more on Jennifer's side if she didn't say she was a mortician, because that kind
Right.
of does
Oh, it's Jennifer.
eliminate
Sorry, I thought it was
Jennifer.
some
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. It does kind of eliminate the emergency
Yeah.
aspect of,
My
of
work
it.
emergency. I mean, unless there was like a bridge collapse. I'm trying to imagine a situation like there was a mass shooting. Like, what is the situation that is a mortician emergency?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because all death is unexpected.
Yeah.
Almost all death is unexpected on some level.
Involved a hospital. My I am a mortician and my work emergency involved a hospital, which I'm going to say 99% of your business involves a hospital. The majority of people are going to die in a hospital, right? I mean, yeah. I'm
I'm sorry,
voting
Jennifer.
that's not a
Yeah.
good review. Not a good
Nope.
review.
Or we're
Um,
not siding with her. We don't side with you.
yes.
Jennifer, we
Yes.
side with the winery. We side with Janae, who good
Janae,
on Janae to say,
boom.
actually, I, right, our vendors aren't your emergency. Your work emergency is not my emergency. My
You go,
problem.
Janae. I may go
Yeah,
there just to see you.
exactly.
Okay, we have June. We've been here several times, and without doubt, you'll get rude and pretentious service. So why go back? Why go back? Visited here with my mom from
Right.
out of town, arrived at 4 p.m. They close at 5, and Richard told us we had to leave because they were closing. The place was full with open bottles on the tables, but we had to leave. What a joke. Well, why do you keep going back?
I mean, listen, Richard, who you're talking about like you know him because you've been there so many times, Richard has probably seen your cranky face. And he didn't want to start you at 4 o'clock
4
because they're
o'clock.
going to close at 5 and they're full. They're
Right.
full and it's not the right time. Sorry. I'm so sorry. We can't accommodate you right now. We're closing at 5 and our tables are full.
Right.
And by the way, you come in here unhappy every time because you think we're pretentious and rude. Stop coming.
Yeah, right. We're
How,
good
what
without
do we
you.
have to do to get you to stop coming? Is being pretentious and rude to you not enough?
That is true.
What's it going to take?
What will it take to get you never to come back to me?
Yeah, maybe this will work. Did she say never again?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
No, she didn't.
She's going to go
No,
back.
she
She's going
will
to go
go
back
back.
and complain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
I
place was
hate this place.
full.
It's
The
so
place was full.
pretentious.
So you
Yeah.
didn't have a place to sit. And he couldn't get you out by 5 o'clock. But we had to leave. What a joke. That's how she ended it. What a joke.
What a joke. So she'll go back
She'll
and
be
and
back.
she'll say, "Richard, can you fit
Richard.
us in this time? You couldn't
Yeah,
fit us in last time. You guys are so
exactly.
stuck up."
Yeah. We're here now at 3:45. Is that
Yeah.
enough time?
Yeah. Exactly. Again, I'm siding with the winery.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. All right. I have no idea how to pronounce this person because it the name is Jymn, and then the last name is Ykrkt. So I feel like they just typed whatever letters they were
Yeah.
so he can do
I
a
think
one,
so
he can
too.
do a
We can
star.
call him Jimin.
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 Because all he did was put 1 star.
Oh, no, and no words.
No words.
Oh, Jimin.
Oh, Jimin.
Probably because they're stuck up.
Damn it, I couldn't get my real name in there.
Yeah. I just
Yeah,
want to give him 1 star. One
just one
star.
star. One star. Jiminy Cricket. Oh, it's Jiminy
Oh,
Cricket.
Jiminy Cricket.
It's Jiminy Cricket.
Wait, didn't we have Jiminy Cricket on a different one?
I think we did, but not that way. Yeah.
Oh, Jiminy Cricket.
Oh my God.
Jiminy Cricket.
Ah, Jiminy. All right, I like you, Jiminy.
Yeah. Clever. Clever. Man
Yeah.
of few words.
Yeah. Yes. Doesn't know how to spell it, but all good. That is that like
Probably you can't, probably
license
Jiminy
plate
Cricket's already
cricket
used.
used? Yeah.
So he had to do it a different way maybe Jiminy Cricket is what he uses
Yeah.
everywhere and
Yeah.
there
But it's funny,
isn't.
he did it as a first and last name. Jymn space YKRKT. Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, because I bet you Jiminy Cricket's a common because we've only done
I
what, 15 reviews,
yeah,
20? And we've already run across a Jiminy Cricket
yes.
before. So
Yeah.
it
Okay.
must be a common name.
Yeah,
That's
that's
hilarious.
awesome. Okay, I think that's even funnier that I just got it as I was okay. Uh Juan Carlos Nova. And obviously he did take a picture. Okay, so
Oh,
I can't show that on a podcast, but I took a note to say that he took time to add a nice photo, which, my person took time to take a photo too. So
she
wasn't in the
recreated.
winery. She
She did a
recreated a photo.
recreation.
Yes, yes.
I love that she
Um,
used blue and red.
right. So this is what Juan has to say. The only good thing about this place was the wine.
Oh,
And
that's the
that was
second
hard.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was hard to swallow.
He's clever.
Yeah. The service terrible, the attitude appalling, and the rudeness of it all was cherry on the top of this experience cake. Try
So
to avoid
here's my
completely.
concern. If we count Jiminy Cricket, that's the fourth comment of rudeness.
Yeah,
So it makes you wonder if they are rude and kind of
we are
snooty.
kind of getting a
A theme
vibe.
here.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
Like maybe they think they're super cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I still want to
This is
go with
Darcy
more.
Kent.
This is Darcy Kent.
Listen, I think her bio might have tipped us off. Like she's bragging about sixth generation. I mean, it's missing details, but
Yeah.
maybe they
Well,
maybe they think they're really cool.
well, they don't talk anything about actually hospitality. They just talk about making, you know,
Great wine.
great wine.
Maybe they're hipsters. They opened in 1996.
Yeah.
Maybe they have uncomfortable stools and $40
Oh, the
hamburgers.
worst. The worst. Okay. We are going to move on to Gary Vineyard Restaurant and Event Center because we all know when we get to the event centers, it's all about the food, right?
Yep.
So, they have a 4.4 out of 307 reviews. So they're kind of getting lower there.
Yeah.
So the family traditions and a deeply rooted heritage are the backbone of the Gare Vineyard and Winery, welcoming visitors as family to enjoy the experience of Old Italy. Visit us to share in our toast of a glass from the past, a toast to the future.
In Italy, but actually in California.
In California, in the Livermore Valley, which is by far the closest related to Italy anywhere in the United States.
That's what people say. It's like, hey, at least I ended up in Livermore Valley.
Valley.
It's like the old country.
Yes, yes. So, Kristen Harris, I can't wait to cancel my membership here.
Strong out of the gate, Kristen.
I've called and emailed many times over a 6-month period about my membership and wine shipments. No one, all capital, and I mean no one ever, all capitals, responds by way of phone or email. Terrible customer service, unuser friendly website, and forget about any answers to questions you may have. that can't be found on the website. They won't answer. Maybe I can trick them into returning my calls and emails by pretending to make an incredible large purchase or huge reservation. Maybe someone will return my calls then. And then the emoji. Okay, I'm on the side of
Mm.
Kristen here on this one.
Yeah. Why you listen, your members should hear back from you.
Yeah,
Period.
yeah. But on the other side, if Kristen, just go to your credit card and cancel the membership through your credit card.
Right. Here, pro tip, everyone. Just block them from your credit card. They'll
Yes.
call you when they can't charge you.
Yes, they will. So, yes, little lesson there, peeps. Pro tip. Exactly.
Yes.
All right, we have one with a response. So,
Ooh, those are fun.
yay! This is Rachel. I hate that I have to write a negative review, but I feel compelled to warn others. I ordered the ribeye, which arrived lukewarm and sloppily presented. It looked awful, but I didn't complain. I just made a mental note upon its arrival to never return to this place. But to my shock, the bill came and the steak cost $72. I'm not trying to be rude, but you can eat a better steak at Denny's.
How did she not know how much it was before she ordered?
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to go with that, but let's hear the response before we
Oh,
go
yeah.
on, right? Hi, Rachel. We are sorry to hear that we did not meet your expectation at the time of service. We wish you would have brought this to our attention.
Right.
Okay, I'm putting a slab of meat in front of you and you think it looks horrendous and it's cold. How about letting me know so that I can fix it for you? Okay.
Yeah.
We would have brought this to, if you had brought this to our attention, we would have had the opportunity to correct it for you and provide you with the expectation that we strive to provide. Additionally, our ribeye is priced at $38. So if you were charged 72, please contact our office at our phone number and we will correct this error.
Yeah. Did they give a phone number?
Yeah, they did.
Well, you know who we need to give that to? The other gal who can't get in touch for
Touch.
her wine club.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I mean, that's obviously an error that she was
Yeah.
charged 72
Why
bucks.
would you not question that?
I would.
Right? Why would you not go, excuse me,
Excuse me.
was this steak really $72?
Yeah. I think I'm always shocked at people who don't look at their checks.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of faith to put in the servers running around and everything.
Yeah.
Um, that
Just
there's
check that you're
not going to be
getting
an
charged for
error.
what you actually got, right?
I've
Not
been
the
given other
table
people's
next to,
checks
right.
at a
Yep.
restaurant that I go to a lot where they know me
Right.
down the street. And I'm like,
Not mine.
because
Yeah.
it's clearly not me, one person eating, it's four people's food. So many errors like that can happen. So she could have been given the wrong check.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I again, it goes back to you can't hold any business accountable for not giving you superior service if you don't let them know that you're upset with the service. Why would they, they served you meat. They're thinking it's hot. They're thinking it's done well. If you don't say anything, how do you expect them to fix it?
Yeah. And I mean, I guess a lot of people have never worked in food service or hospitality, but there are so many points where things could be going wrong that the manager needs to know. It could be the server doesn't care
Right.
and they grabbed it, or they took it out from under the heat lamp and left it someplace for a bit and then it got cold. Or it could
Right.
be that the kitchen's angry, the chef's about to quit and they're sending out cold food. Like there are a million things, but if you bring to the manager's attention, then they know.
Right.
Like they don't know.
Right.
And
They
we're
have the
assuming
opportunity to fix something. Right.
that every employee cares enough. And sometimes this is how the manager finds out they don't.
Right. Yep.
So,
All right. So we've got one more, and
okay.
we are going to end it with Tammy Eliason. Our server was great. However, she didn't have support from the busboys. When we complained to management, he blamed it on our server. So upsetting. Our server came back in tears. She tried very hard to make things right, but didn't have the support from the management. food was good, but we won't be back because of the way they treated our server. Hope she finds a better job that appreciates her.
So what if we go back to the last one, even if she complained about the
Plain.
steak,
It was
they
going to
might
be
have blamed the busboy.
yep, yep,
Oh. You know
yeah.
what? That's pretty galling side by side because up above she says, if you told us, we could have fixed it. Call us if it's wrong your check. And the next review is like, we
Yeah,
did bring
yeah.
it to the manager's attention and they verbally abused their
The
employee
employee in front of us.
in front of us. So that's why we don't send our food back.
She came back in tears. Oh my God. And I would be like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm so sorry. That was not what I was trying to
I
do.
was
I
just
really was
trying to
trying
get
to
you
help
some
you.
help.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. That is just horrible. That is just
Uh,
horrible. Wow.
well, I don't even know what to think about this place.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like that as an ending, but
No,
that was a good way
if
to
I
end it.
read all
Yeah.
those, yeah, if I'd read all those, I would decide not to go.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Well,
Well, another
there is
great
another,
conversation.
yes, there is another episode of our one-star winery reviews. We're done with Livermore, so we will have to travel somewhere else. What do you think? Do we go out of the country or stay in the country?
Um, I think we stay in the country because
Okay,
our population is really good at this kind of
that
complainathon.
is true.
Right?
That
So we
is,
could go someplace else that's in the
yeah.
US.
I'll look outside of California for our next episode.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. There's
yeah.
Washington, there's Oregon.
Yeah, maybe we'll go a little north. A little
Yeah.
north. Yes,
Perfect.
absolutely. Well, it was wonderful to see you again.
Yes.
And, please let people know where they're finding you if you're getting back in the groove, what's going
Oh,
on.
I mean, I do have a podcast called My Aloof Vagina. That's exactly what it sounds like. And it's about perimenopause, midlife dating, aging, and there is a season up, and there's a season two coming very soon.
All right. Yay. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you, Martha, for sharing your humor with me and allowing me to laugh at
Yes,
these really bad people who are leaving these reviews. And we will talk again soon.
very fun.
Lancha.